right, good morning, good afternoon, depending on when you're watching this. I'm Brad Britt. I work for the Air Force Wounded Warrior Program. I'm a program manager for their transition program, Empowerment to Transition. Today, we're very fortunate with us to have another program manager, Bobby Puckett. He's with the community programs. It's an essential part of what we do in helping those find things to do on the other side once they get out of the military. There's a lot of organizations out there that want to help and have a lot of great things for veterans to do. So with that, Bobby, I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to you. If you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about how you maybe got into this, and then we can get a little bit into what programs are out there. But I'd like to learn a little bit about how you got into this yourself first.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brad. I really appreciate you having me on today. Your program is about the transition. So, after some kind of a life-changing event, whether you're transitioning from military to retired or civilian life, trying to figure out what to do in that transition period. I can tell you that volunteering is a great way to get active in your community. In 2000, I had a truck accident and I became an amputee, both my legs below the knee. And I really didn't know what life could be or should be, or I was kind of lost, honestly. I knew that I probably couldn't work in the type of career fields that I was doing before my accident. So I knew I had to go back to school and to get training. So I enrolled at Ohio State University, go Bucks. But while I was in school, I began to start participating in a lot of these nonprofit organizations. Most of them were geared toward adaptive sports, which, is something that I really enjoyed doing. But after, just attending a lot of their events and participating, I realized how much impact it was making on my outlook. And I realized that, I really wanted to start giving back, start becoming involved on a different level, So by volunteering, it really expands your capabilities of what you're able to do. It puts you in a different role, whether it's, helping with logistics, setting up an event, whether it's, helping with, people getting through a natural disaster or whatever it is, it really kind of puts you outside of your current scope of capabilities. And it's a great way to kind of go through that transition period, because a lot of times you can schedule how much you work based on your availability, based on your current, your health. If you can only do a couple hours a day, or if you can only do 1 or 2 days a week, or whatever it is, you're still helping to give back to your community, but it's more based on your current abilities to do so.
Yeah, I think you touched on a big point. There's a lot to give. There's a lot still to do. I think a lot of times, when you're in the military, sometimes you get voluntold to do things, right? To volunteer. But I mean, it's a little bit different when you get out of the military. You kind of find yourself wanting to do more because you're kind of used to that. And I know there's a lot of organizations that are out there, and it's, besides transitioning into school or transitioning into employment, there's part of being part of the community. You also, wherever you go, because there's a good chance you're going to move. When you get out of the military, you're like, okay, I can move wherever I want, right? And then hopefully you get that chance to move to wherever you want, or wherever you're going to start your new life, maybe settle down. You're going to want to get involved in that community. So, veterans try to find other veterans, try to find things to volunteer for. So I'm really kind of see how what you're saying and how it really can impact anybody who's transitioning. And we have a great adaptive sports program here at AFW2. But what are some of the organizations for volunteering that you have discovered, maybe regional or local, that you would kind of recommend for maybe some of our warriors to explore?
Absolutely. So before I start listing a couple of the organizations, I want to make a comment that supporting others for the sole purpose of helping to make their lives better, that's very fulfilling. It brings a true sense of happiness. So if you're not used to volunteering, I definitely suggest finding a mission or an organization that you're passionate about. Whether it is it's helping homeless veterans, whether it's working with caregivers and children of veterans, if it's helping support warriors after a natural disaster, and that really crucial time when sometimes they're needing meals, or they're needing those life-saving resources. Find something that you're truly passionate about, and really dig in, with both feet. Just really start helping out. So a couple of organizations that I really want to discuss today are large organizations. They have a very well organized volunteer program. I'm highlight those organizations today, but like I said before, most nonprofits, they need help, they need assistance. So even if I don't talk about the organization today that you're interested in, reach out to us at AFW2 Community Programs, and we can help get you involved in those types of organizations. So the first organization I'd like to talk about today is Achilles International. It's a great program. I've participated in a lot of their events. So say you're on the athletic side and you want to help people on hand cycles complete a marathon, or say you want to assist visually impaired runners to run a 5K. They have all kinds of opportunities for you to participate in those events with other injured warriors. They also need a lot of help with logistics, setting up their events. So if that's more your style, they have opportunities for that also. There's Disabled American Veterans, which is commonly referred to as DAV. They have opportunities where you can volunteer through them at Department of Veterans hospitals. Whether it's driving the cart to pick people up at their cars to take them up to the front door. They have a program set up where you can drive one of their vehicles, go pick up people that have transition challenges, and take them to their doctor's appointments, or take them grocery shopping. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to help out through the DAV. Objective Zero is another great organization. So this organization, they have an amazing app. So you go into the app and you say you want to be an ambassador with them. If there is a warrior that is struggling, maybe it's thoughts of suicide, maybe it's thoughts of harming themselves or someone else, whatever it might be. On this app, it puts them in contact with you. So maybe you just got a couple minutes to lend an ear. Maybe you've been through the same thoughts as they're going through, and you know what it's like to be there. They also help provide training through Psych Armor, and to help you have those tools to really be able to assist other warriors. Another great program is Operation Barbecue Relief. So Barbecue Relief is a great organization. Say there's a natural disaster. They've been really active in Florida, Louisiana, Southern Texas. Say a hurricane comes through and people are without power for an extended period of time, or say they're looking for ways to feed their family. You know what I mean? They provide meals for the whole community. The last event that I was following with them, they provided 13,000 meals in a 3-day period, and it's open to the community. But say you want to give back to the community after something like that, definitely reach out to our Operation Barbecue Relief. Operation Gratitude is another great organization. So if a lot of times when folks are coming back from deployment or somewhere overseas, they meet them at the airport. Just a whole welcome home type ceremony. They have a program where you can help stuff care packages for deployed troops. Operation Rubicon, it's another organization that helps just like the Operation Barbecue Relief. So if there's a natural disaster, they go in and help clear the way. They help with logistics as far as getting resources you need. A great program. Team Red, White, and Blue, they have chapters all across the U.S. and one of their pillars in their program is giving back to the community. So whether it's a food drive, if it's a blood drive, if it's around the holidays, and they may have a toy drive for children. They have all kinds of ways that they give back in their local communities, and they're nationwide. The Elizabeth Dole Foundation, that organization is specifically focused on the caregiver and family. So if you're a caregiver yourself, and some of the challenges of having your spouse deployed, they're there to help you get the resources or just an ear, for any kind of challenges that you might have. They have a great ambassador program also to help raise awareness and outreach.
That's awesome. I mean, it sounds like there's a lot out there, right? I mean, like the list could go on,
Absolutely.
the list could go on, right? You touched on a few, hit some of the wave tops, and I think, that's a really good start. So I'm a warrior. I'm in the AFW2, or I'm a caregiver watching this, and I'm like, okay, I want to get involved with community programs. I want to learn more about what Bobby and the team does at AFW2 and how I could utilize your program specifically to help me in my transition. So could you just talk a little bit about maybe some of the things you provide, some of the things you do? I know you got an amazing team over there working really hard to make sure people are aware of events that are going on. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So community programs is totally focused on connecting our warriors across the nation with things that are happening in their communities. Whether it is, say you want to participate in a wheelchair basketball team, we work to find those organizations that have a local team in your area. Say you've been to an event and you've really gotten bit by the hand cycling bug. We connect you with organizations that provide grants to buy this adaptive equipment, because a lot of times the adaptive equipment is outrageously expensive, and that's the biggest hurdle to getting involved in those events is, how do I get this high dollar equipment? Um, we connect people with, like I said, the volunteer opportunities. We connect people with organizations that come in and help modify your home. If say your injury's gotten worse, or say you need a wheelchair ramp put on your home, that kind of thing. We have resources that can help you find something close to you to help take care of those needs.
That's awesome. I mean, and you touched on some of the things I wanted to talk about, and it's important because you come through these programs, and you're a wounded warrior, and then you're transitioning, right, and then you're kind of moving on, right? It's a
Right.
cycle that you move through, and it's important that you use the skills, you use the recovery skills, the programs. Once you leave, when you're on the other side of that DU-214, I think you guys provide a lot of information to help with that, because recovery doesn't end once you leave the military. It
Absolutely.
continues. So I think a lot of the information, finding grants, finding organizations to link up with to continue to do that, it doesn't just help your physical well-being, but your mental well-being as well, right? So I think that you guys are a lot of value added. I think you guys bring an important piece to the transition process, which is kind of where my program is at, as far as, but we focus on employment, education, but we want to make sure we bridge that gap with you for volunteer, and make sure people understand those kind of programs are out there, right? Because you can become paralysis by analysis with how much is out there. But if hey, I got a gal at AFW2 I can call and reach out, and they might be able to help me find something, so I'm not sifting through the Google machine for a few hours, right?
Absolutely.
And then just I don't know if you want to talk if there's like a few more things. I mean, personally, like you're invested in this, right? You talked a little bit about it, your experience, and how important it was to you. And I think it's important to a lot of people. And sometimes just getting out, starting with adaptive sports, when we talk about it, a lot of it is just getting up and doing something.
Right.
Because when you get injured, there's a variety of injuries, and the level of the injury and all that kind of things. You do lose a certain part of what you can do, but you also can still do so much. And so you guys providing those opportunities to people to make sure they can see, hey, I can still go out and do this. I can do that. I can't do this the way I used to, but I can do it like this now. So I think what you guys do is incredibly important. And then if do you guys have a Facebook?
Absolutely, Brad. So we have the AFW2 Community Programs Facebook page. So we use that strictly as a resource page. So my team, we look for opportunities nationwide, and we put all those opportunities on that page. There's a lot. I mean, it can be overwhelming sometimes, because there's over 46,000 veteran service organizations across the nation. So as you mentioned earlier, if you Google it, you can be overwhelmed, So we've got relationships with a lot of these organizations. We vet these organizations to make sure they're doing the right thing. And we put a lot of these events on. We have a monthly regional calendar that we put out. We email that out around the first of each month, so you know what's coming up the following month, and then a couple months in advance. So that helps you get involved with those events that are happening in your area. But also, we have a new initiative called the Warrior and Family Social Connections. or just social connections for short. And the whole point of that initiative is we know that during that transition time, whether you're transitioning from active duty to retirement status, whether you're transitioning from one location, maybe back home to your hometown, whatever it might be, we know there's an isolation period there, right? You're changing your support group, you're changing your group of friends, you're changing, a lot of things. So that's what this initiative was set up for, is to help get you connected with other AFW2 warriors in your community whenever you transition, right? And that's a closed Facebook. That's a closed Facebook page, but it's open to all AFW2 members, and we keep it closed so that you can go on there and you can kind of collaborate with other warriors, in your area, and say, hey, I'm going to a festival this weekend. Is there any other warriors in the area that want to get together? You know what I mean? Or say you're a cyclist, you can coordinate on that page and say, hey, I'm riding Saturday at this trailhead at 9 o'clock. You might want to join me. We try to build those communities nationwide. So that's another initiative that we're really trying to push right now. But that's AFW2, Warrior and Family Social Connections.
That's huge. That's a really big undergoing. You know what I mean? Because it takes it's kind of like a lot of these programs. We can try our best, right? But I mean, as much effort as we put into it, it honestly is the warriors who lead the way in making it successful. So I mean, the warriors who take it, utilize it, and then they care about each other. They make sure that everybody else knows about it. So we'll make sure that information gets out there. I think that's a great initiative. I think that's a great thing to do, because it's always nice to have a teammate to go out and do things with. So I really appreciate that. Well, I really appreciate having you, Bobby. Is there anything else that you feel like we should cover, we should hit on before we let it go? Well, make sure that your information, including your email, your Facebook, and then the website, if your website page from military or our military site is on here. But other than that, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for what you do for our warriors. Thank you for your service, and thank you for what you continue to do to serve our community.
Thanks, Brad. I really appreciate you having me on today. It's great to always be able to talk to the warriors on different platforms and be able to share, kind of what AFW2 is doing for them. Sometimes the messaging, it gets overlooked, or it's maybe one time it's shared differently than another time. But we're all here for the warriors. So AFW2 wide, we're here to take care of them. So if they ever need anything, that's what this program is stood up for.
Well, I appreciate you being here. Thank you all for joining us. Again, if you need the information, we'll provide the information, and reach out, find out what community programs has going on. Their team is pushing really hard to bring these awesome organizations to you so you can utilize them. And remember that these organizations are there to help you. They're there for you to use. So use them, and get out there in the community, build that relationship, build that network, help yourself by helping others. Okay. So everybody have a good day. Appreciate it. Thank you, Bobby. Till next time, have a good day.